Good afternoon, everyone. Today is the afternoon session of our first conference on corporate governance and sustainable development, co-organized with Virtus Enterprise. And we are very happy today with one of the presenters, Mr. Francis Awolo from Sheffield Hallam University, UK. And his area will be about financial fraud and how we're going to prevent or what kind of impact we're going to generate for the community. So welcome, Francis.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
So in the United Nations, the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, we focus on quality education. So Francis, what do you think about sustainable development, the mindset? What is the mindset?
Yeah, my mindset, coming from an accounting background and from a forensic accounting background, moving into fraud, is in order for us to have sustainable development for the future, we need to start training our professional accountants to be aware of fraud. They need to be aware of fraud in order to allow businesses to be a going concern. Because when fraud happens, it obviously the stakeholders' investment have not been safeguarded. So in order for us to be able to have quality education, we need to start training auditors.
Right.
We need to start training auditors more to be aware of fraud. Because at the moment, auditors seems not to be aware of these frauds. And that's what the problem are. We have businesses collapsing. We have the Enron, we have the Parmalat, we have the Toshiba in Asia continent. We have Olympus fraud happening. Auditors are not very aware when it comes to fraud. So in order for us to have a sustainable development, we need to improve on the curriculum. We need to start training auditors to be more aware of fraud. That's the way forward. That's the way I think about it. Take, for instance, when Enron happened, some people committed suicide. So when the business is not going on, it affects people's social life. And that's the reason why we need to raise awareness amongst auditors, so that when auditor becomes aware of that fraud detection capacity, then it's safeguard shareholder investment. That's the way I'm probably going to look at it. Everybody should be aware about fraud. As an investor, if you want to invest your money in a company, when you look at the financial statement, there should be some indicators that you want to be aware of, and that is part of what forensic accounting is all about. In forensic accounting, now we're talking about data analytic. You need to be aware. You need to be able to run softwares to detect fraud. Now we won't be able to start talking about sampling again, because with computer programs you can go through a number of data of clients, and that makes life more easier. So I think using artificial intelligence, data analytic will be an innovation that everyone in the profession of accounting particularly need to be aware of. Data analytic will help you to spot problem, will help you to detect fraud much more better than just doing sampling and working on the materiality levels. The future is just a paradigm shift. We need to move away from the traditional way of doing things to a more forensic approach that will involve data analytic, that will involve artificial intelligence, and this will limit the extent to which fraud happens. Because when fraud happens, I keep saying this, it means the shareholders' investments have not been safeguarded. To be honest, in fairness, the UK corporate governance code seems to be very sound at the moment. So it makes it very difficult for board of directors to misbehave. Although, you can pick me up and say, Tesco are the problem, which is fine. But when you move to other culture, take for instance in the Asia continent, the same individual can still be the board of directors, or can be the CEO and the chairman. In the UK, it's not like that again. We've moved away from that. So I think it will make sense culturally if other continents can emulate what is going on in the UK, so that you separate the position of the board, of the chairman from that of the CEO, from that of the CFO. Fraud can still happen because they can collide together and still commit fraud. But again, it will take a longer time compared to if the same person is the one that is doing everything.